Sunday. My name is Katie Claude, and I am a member of this congregation. This morning, the Maddox family will be lighting the chalice. I think Oscar will be coming up. Excellent. Please join me in our chalice lighting words that are in your order of service. We light this chalice, symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith, to remind us to connect in spirituality and service, to care for each other and the world, and to create loving community.
Good morning. My name is Jake. Today I want to share with you a story from Greek myth. Long ago, there was a king named Sisyphus in the ancient land of Greece. Sisyphus was known for his cunning mind, his love of power, and his ability to trick even the gods. He was a master manipulator who would stop at nothing to get what he wanted. He could probably run for president one day. One day, Sisyphus went too far. He committed a grave offense against the gods, and for this he was sentenced to a punishment that would last for all eternity. His punishment was simple, yet excruciatingly painful. He was condemned to push a giant boulder up a steep hill, but as he neared the top, the boulder would roll back down the hill, forcing him to start over again. He was to repeat this task for all time, never to rest or succeed. He was trapped in an endless cycle of pushing and falling with no hope of ever achieving his goal. Years turned into centuries, and Sisyphus continued to push his boulder. He grew weary and exhausted, but he refused to give up. He knew that the moment he gave up, the gods would have won. And so he pushed on, day after day, year after year. As time passed, something unexpected happened. Sisyphus began to find meaning in his punishment. He realized that the struggle was what gave his life purpose. In a world where everything was predetermined and meaningless, his struggle against the boulder was the one thing he had control over. And so he embraced his punishment, finding joy in pushing his boulder up the hill. He'd improve on his boulder pushing methods, seeing how fast he could go, or he'd push slower to better observe the changing ground beneath his feet. He became acquainted with every pebble and stone in his path. He no longer cared about the gods or their punishment. All he cared about was the work, the challenge, and the meaning it brought to his life. In the end, Sisyphus's punishment became his salvation. It gave him a purpose and a reason to keep going when everything seemed hopeless. Even though he was trapped in an endless cycle, he discovered freedom within his struggle. It was something that the gods could never take away. The myth of Sisyphus teaches us that life is a struggle, but it is a struggle that we must embrace. We may never achieve our goals, but trying, experiencing, and growing gives our lives meaning. In the face of insurmountable challenges, we keep pushing, keep exploring, and keep living. In the end, it is that struggle that defines our short time together and what makes our life worthwhile. Thank you.
So welcome to worship at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Greensboro. Unitarian Universalists believe that each person has a trustworthy relationship with the Spirit, with the Holy, with the source of all life. Some call it God, though we name it and know it differently. And we believe that because we are interconnected, no one is free until we are all free. So we strive to build beloved community here on earth in our fellowship with one another and in our work for justice, whether today is your very first day or maybe your 1000th day with us. We are stronger because we are together. We are one people with many beliefs, many origins, many sexualities and genders. We are all growing, all learning, and all loved. Please make sure your cell phones are in silent mode. We're mask optional today. We have a special section in the back over here if you prefer to be with other people who are wearing their masks. Our ministry team here at UUCG is Cindy Dillard, our Director of Children and Youth Ministry, Julie Hamilton, our Congregational Administrator, Lynn Hessler, our Summer Music Coordinator, and the Reverend Patty Hanneman, our Interim Minister, while Reverend Sadie Lansdale, our Minister, is on sabbatical leave. Today we also welcome our guest musician, member Brian Blauk. He has been with us for many years, served in several positions, including 3 years on the board, and he's also a very gifted and well-respected musician in our community, serving in several ensembles throughout the area, and we're very lucky to have you here with us today, Brian. Now let's review our covenant, the promises that we make to one another. A covenant contains the promises we make to one another in the response to the great gift of living, holding ourselves to these holy aspirations. Please join me in reading our church covenant. We, the members of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Greensboro, do covenant to promote a search for personal meaning, respecting the individual truth in a community process of quest, speak and act with caring, courtesy, and love, thereby maintaining emotional, physical, and spiritual safety for all. Support UUCG and denominational efforts with our resources. Combat injustice while promoting equality. Nurture our children on their spiritual journey. Hold ourselves to this covenant, especially during times of conflict and disagreement. And now will you please rise in body or spirit and join us in our opening music in our gray hymnal number 38, Morning Has Broken. If you're joining us here in the sanctuary, won't you say hello to everyone online? If you're online, please go ahead and introduce yourselves in the chat. And if you're in person, let's greet your neighbors.
How beautiful it is to be together. We gather in gratitude this morning, turning our hearts to thanks and praise for the gift of living, in the presence of the Spirit that animates all life, and in the knowledge that we are powerfully, profoundly connected to all that is, all that has been, and all that will be. During these few moments of silence, you can focus on something you're grateful for, or someone you are remembering, especially today, or just the sensation of your chair supporting you. Will you please find a comfortable place in your heart and take a few easy breaths as we settle into our shared silence together. We bring the echoes in our hearts before our community and before the holy in this sacred space and time. If you're online, this is the time to share your joys and sorrows with one another in the chat. If you're in person and you have a milestone you would like added to our prayers, you can fill out a yellow card, which the ushers will collect from you. If there's a joy on your heart, place a plant in the vase. If there's a sorrow, place a stone in the bowl. You may light a candle of prayer and presence for someone you're holding close to you on either side of our sanctuary. If you're not sure how you're feeling, or maybe you're feeling a little antsy, there are pipe cleaners in the back to fidget with, or you may have brought needlework. You can feel free to do so. In church, we practice becoming more fully human. This is a time to take stock of how we arrive here and to take what we need, knowing that the table is set for all. And then you're welcome to come forward at this time and place a stone or a flower in the vase, light a candle, and ushers have yellow cards if you don't have one in your order of service. Will you join me in prayer and presence? In this moment, bathed in silence and song, we offer our joys and sorrows alike, knowing that they are woven fine. Kate Katahdin says, my daughter and I just got back last night from her Trek College recruitment trip to New England. That's exciting. Massachusetts and Maine. It was very exciting. Our prayers of joy and gratitude are with you, Kate, and your daughter. That's amazing. Carrie Farley shares that the drum circle downtown Greensboro is every first Friday, and all are welcome. God of many names and beyond all naming, we pray to help us move from anger to love, from anxiety to peace, from pain to tranquility. Help us share our joys with each other. We ask these things ourselves for those we love and for those we do not yet love. Amen.
And now, children of all ages are invited to join their teachers in the RE wing for snack, play, and fellowship. Let's sing them out. Go in peace, go in love, and go in joy. Go in peace, go in peace, go in peace, amen, amen. Go in love, go in love, go in love, amen, amen. Go in joy, go in joy, go in joy, amen, amen.
Why did the boulder break up with her boyfriend? Because he took her for granted. Today, I want to share Albert Camus' 1942 essay, The Myth of Sisyphus, and how it relates to Unitarian Universalist principles. Camus posited that life is inherently meaningless and absurd, and the only way to live a meaningful life is by embracing this absurdity. His essay was written in 1940 during the German invasion of France and published 2 years later. As German tanks entered Paris, Camus was moved by the wave of human suffering and the plight of its victims and refugees whose questions of why went unanswered. In 2003, I was a civil affairs sergeant in the Army, deployed for the U.S. invasion of Iraq. As our Humvees entered Baghdad, I was faced with the impact of our forces on that city. Seeing the scars left on the buildings and the people who lived there, I kept asking why, and found the universe quite similarly silent. Day to day, I grappled with an unbearable monotony, like Groundhog Day, grinding repetitive labors to rebuild that city that we broke and to establish safety for its people, that, like our own boulder, would be undone at any moment to roll back down the hill. All the while, living with an ever-present anxiety of the looming danger that I could meet a violent end suddenly and without warning. It felt pointless, absurd even. When faced with misfortune, with adversity, or with suffering, we can feel overwhelmed and powerless in an indifferent world. We are so small in an infinite universe. We are so alone in a millennia of human history, barely a speck in the grand scheme of things. We may wonder what the point of it all is, or why we should even bother struggling at all. It can feel absurd. Camus writes, "The absurd lies in the juxtaposition between the fundamental human need to attribute meaning to life and the unreasonable silence of the universe in response." Camus suggests that by embracing the absurdity of life and acknowledging that it is ultimately meaningless, we can free ourselves from the burden of trying to find an ultimate purpose. Instead, we can focus on this, the present moment, and find joy and fulfillment while pushing our boulder up that hill. For me, in Iraq, we came to value small joys. Clowning around to elicit a laugh from the kids on the street, despite our language barrier, singing Sweet Caroline together over the comms as we safely re-entered the base after a long day outside the wire. Camaraderie through shared hardships. And there were those times where we did some real good, impacting people's lives for the better. Although absurdism may reject traditional metaphysical and mythological claims to external truth and meaning, it does not imply apathy or nihilism. Instead, it encourages individuals to embrace life's absurdity and live with a sense of freedom, but also a responsibility to create our own meaning in life, to be our best selves in the short time we are alive, to explore that freedom. The end could come at any time and without warning, so we must ask ourselves, what impact can we make while we are here? This sense of responsibility can be directed towards social justice or other measurable action, aligning with Unitarian Universalism's commitment to improving the world. In the myth of Sisyphus, he is condemned to push a boulder up a hill, only for it to roll back down, and he must repeat this task for eternity, which I'm sure feels something like the DMV or being on hold with customer service. Camus saw this as a metaphor for the human condition. Unitarian Universalism is a faith tradition emphasizing individual freedom, reason, and tolerance. We believe that each person has their own path to personal meaning and truth, and no one doctrine can claim exclusive access to it. It affirms every person's inherent worth and dignity and encourages us to live our lives with compassion and with justice. As a community, we support each other in our journeys. We can offer kindness and understanding when someone struggles to push their boulder, and celebrate with them when they reach the top of the hill. Thank you for listening. Please rise in body or in spirit for our hymn number 159 in your gray hymnal, "This Is My Song." Now, one of the ways that we live out our mission to create loving community is to contribute financially to the ministries of this congregation and to the good work of our community partners. Our offering this month goes to Greensboro Urban Ministry. The Greensboro Urban Ministry Food Pantry has provided food for people at risk of hunger in Guilford County for over 30 years. They also provide emergency support services, shelter, and case management to our neighbors in need. If you would like to make a contribution to be split with the Greensboro Urban Ministry, you can do so at the link in the description of the video. You can text GIVE to the number in your order of service. You can also mail a check,
and you can put money that folds into the basket. Ushers will come forward to collect the offering, which will now be gratefully received. That was amazing. Now let's add to the music by Rising in Body or Spirit for our closing hymn in your teal hymnal. Number 1015, I Know I Can.
Troubles wait at every turn.
now will you join me for our chalice extinguishing words? We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And now for announcements. There is a printout in your order of service. I've circled the one at the bottom. There's an all-church potluck on the 27th, which will also be when we welcome back the Reverend Sadie Lansdale from her sabbatical. So please put that one on your calendar. I'll let you read the others in the order of service. And you have one thing? Come on up.
Hi everyone, I'm Amelia Maddox. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm the president of our congregation. And I just wanted to point, it's not in here, so I wanted to make sure you had the information. There is a very quick survey that is in your e-news. It was on Thursdays. It will be again there this Thursday. Please fill it out. We are getting ready to launch a capital campaign sometime in the very near future, and we need your input on your dreaming big ideas. And so please take a few minutes to fill that out this week or next week.
Thank you, Amelia. So the last thing I probably want to say is that today marks the conclusion of the lay preaching class that you have been getting hopefully the benefit of this summer. On behalf of the group, I just want to say thank you to all of you guys for allowing us to come up here and share a little bit of what is on our hearts, hopefully get to know us better, take something home with you. It's been our joy and our privilege to be able to do this summer for you all. If you're online and you would like to get more connected, you can click the link in the description of this YouTube video and let us know how we can connect with you. If you're in person, you can fill out a pink form at the visitors table or visit our website for our contact form, or simply stick around for worship for refreshments and community. You're invited to join us and Jake in the sanctuary for a short reflection on today's sermon. If you need to leave, you may go with our blessings. Otherwise, get your coffee and come on back here. Thank you.
Let us help each other remember that life is a gift, that our health is a blessing, that today is a new day filled with awesome potential, and that we have the capacity to bring something wholly new and unique and good into this world. Our time together is short and amazing, and I'm glad to have spent this part of it with you. Go in peace. Now please rise in body or in spirit for our benediction hymn, Shalom Havarim.